Alice had a little bit of makeup on before I started applying her makeup, so first thing I did is remove that and made sure that her skin was moisturised, and I used a primer with SPF because we were going to be outside and it was quite a sunny day, so I wanted to make sure that she didn't get sunburn and that she had a good base for the foundation to go on afterwards. After that, I went ahead and applied a really light wash of foundation, and I applied this extremely lightly. I didn't want anything that looked heavy. The whole idea I had for Alice's makeup is I wanted it to look very fresh and youthful. Then the eye makeup, I wanted it to be quite fun, kind of like someone who's only just experimenting with colour and trying something a little bit crazy but without it being a bit of a punch in the face. So after I'd applied the foundation, I then went ahead and applied a little bit of concealer around her eyes and blended it out. For anything like concealer, I don't like using the traditional flat concealer brushes because I find that they just put way too much product on the skin, and I like the skin to look quite light and natural, and I don't want it to feel heavy on the skin. And it's more comfortable for the model normally if I have something fluffy and I gradually build up the colour rather than just slathering something all over the skin. So after I'd applied the foundation, the primer and the concealer, I just put a little bit of HD powder, but mainly on any parts of the face that were going to hit the sunlight and going to look dewy very quickly. I wanted her skin to be matte in places like the T-zone, but I didn't want to lose that luminosity on the rest of the face. So I only applied it forehead, T-zone, cheeks and a little bit of her chin. And then for the eyes, I used a light wash of brown over the eyes. I went ahead with an eye base, and I'd already applied a primer before I did any of this, but then I applied the eye base over that so that I could then go and stick a little bit of glitter. The reason I ended up going for this glitter is that it was more subtle than other glitters I had, and it kind of gave the impression like the eyelids were wet or had a gel on them, rather than being a heavy, quite lumpy glitter. I wanted something that was going to be quite light. And then around the corners of the eyes I used a green. I didn't want to use anything which was pink or red because that's generally a bad idea with anyone who's got red or ginger hair. You want the focus to be that amazing colour, and you don't want anything that's going to distract from it, otherwise it's going to overwhelm the eyes. So I wanted to keep all the focus that was going to have reds or pinks or oranges on her hair, and then have the eyes in slightly contrasting colours. For lips, I went for something quite natural. I used a lip liner which was quite close to her natural lip colour, just slightly darker. I also put a little bit of concealer around the edges just to cover up any redness and make sure that her lips looked very neat and clean. But then down the centre of the lip, what I wanted to do is do a little bit of a Korean lip and have that really nice gradient where you have more of a natural colour overall lip, and then right down the centre you have a slightly darker colour and then you blend it out. And then the last thing I did for the eyes was take a gold eyeliner, and I just ran this really through the lashes more than the waterline. There was a little bit on the waterline, but I tried to keep it as close to the lashes as possible so that you'd get only this slight hint of gold without it being really visible. So it was mainly stuck between the lashes. And the last thing I did was add a little bit of a contour, and this colour was absolutely fantastic because it's the kind of colour that you can use for a blush, but it's also just the right shade for people who have very pale skin as a natural contour without it looking like a Snicker bar contour. And that's it. That's how I did Alice's makeup.
Listen to your heart. Watch the stars fly over the